As you mentioned, the Ben Asher, this was a family. This was
Ben Asher, yes, not Ben Asher. Sorry, Ben Asher. Yeah.
These were a group of scholars during which period? This parallels the Gaonic period.
It's towards the end of the Gaonic period. The Gaonic period usually is considered to end around the beginning of the 10th century, or mid 11th century. Let's say 1035 is the death of the last of the Gaonim. So we're talking about in the 10th century, 9th and 10th century. It was towards the end of the Gaonic era. So what happened is that Tiberias, which is a city on the western shore of the Kinneret, as you know, one of the 4 holy cities of the land of Israel, founded by Herod Antipas, and named for the Emperor Tiberius. So it became a center of Jewish study already in the 2nd, 3rd century. A lot of the Mishnah was compiled there. The Jerusalem Talmud was edited in Tiberias 200 years later. And Saladin eventually put an end to Crusader power there. But the Jewish community flourished in Tiberias. And it was a center, and now it was like a perfect storm situation. First of all, Muslim conquest around the Middle East, there was a rise of Arabic and concurrently a decline in the use of Hebrew. So this group of scholars, family, Ben Asher family and others, wanted to preserve the authentic Hebrew script, etc. Also, the Muslims imported paper-making technology from China, which made it possible technically to produce some really nice works like the Codex. Also, there was a rise of Karaite influence. Now, the Karaites were a group of Jews, began around in the 10th century, who believed only in the written law, not in the oral tradition. On the positive side, that meant that they had tremendous respect and veneration of the text of the Torah. So if you had these people so that was also somewhat an influence. An influence in the sense that there was a great interest in the biblical text. On the other hand, as opposed to the Karaites, there was now an impetus to preserve and reinforce the Masorah, or the oral tradition. So the Karaites was type of like an influence on the positive and the negative side. The positive side is the veneration of the text. So we're competing with them in venerating them. Oh yeah, we'll do it better, right? But on the other hand, there was the Karaite rejection of the oral tradition. So in our text, we're going to put in the oral tradition. So there was that. And it was also a scholarly, political, economic, and cultural capital of Israel almost at the time. So the Masoretes really tried to do a few things. First of all, as I said, the vocalization of the text, meaning nikud. The cantillation, the way you sing it, which is, of course, as I said, the punctuation, which we call ta'amei hamikra, and the textual accuracy, variations, defective or plane spelling. You know, there are words in Hebrew you could say, just random example, Omer. He said Aleph Vav Mem Resh, would read Omer. That's a plane spelling, a full spelling. Or you could write it as Aleph Mem Resh, and you could still read it Omer, right? Put a dot on the top. That's called a defective spelling, right? So they wanted to record all of these things, and the Balei Masorah, they worked for probably about 6 generations. When exactly they started, it's unclear. But they produced the culmination of it all was the 24 books of the Torah in the form of the Aleppo Codex. One of the scribes' name was Shlomo ben Buya'ah, who actually did the writing, which is beautiful script. Probably the head of the person in charge of the venture was a Rav Aaron ben Asher of the Ben Asher family. And they completed this codex. And by the way, we know these because there was a colophon. Colophon is basically a dedication page. If you find the colophon, usually at the end, sometimes at the beginning, then you've got it made. It'll give you the author, it'll tell you the scribe, give you the place, etc., etc. So those were the Masoretes.